When dealing with uniquely powerful regulators like state attorneys general, you need equally unique experience, know-how, and skill. You need Troutman Pepper State Attorneys General Practice.
I'm Clayton Friedman. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 1984, all in one very narrow slice of consumer protection and attorney general type practice. And I graduated from law school in St. Louis University and immediately went to the Missouri Attorney General's office and very quickly became the director of multi-state litigation for the Missouri Attorney General's office. After that, I spent a year at the National Association of Attorneys General, which is the national trade association for the Attorneys General, and then I went into private practice. I am the co-leader of the State Attorney General practice. I have been at a lot of large law firms, very sophisticated, well-respected law firms, but they didn't have necessarily a practice dedicated to attorneys general. I was that practice, or the team that I brought with me, 3, 4, 5 people. At Troutman Pepper, it's much more dynamic. The practice has probably 25 to 30 people in it. I'm no longer an island. I'm actually part of a very comprehensive team, and it was interesting. It was more than just the puzzle pieces matching up. It was more than 1 + 1 equaling 2. It was more like 1 + 1 = 5. It made us that much stronger because I would say across the board, whether you're talking about doing the investigative side of our practice or you talk about the government relations side of our practice, I'd like to think we're probably stronger than anyone else in the space of our competitors. Being involved in litigation in a federal or state court with a private defendant or private plaintiff who's on the other side of you is completely different than when you're involved in a matter dealing with the state attorneys general. The rules are completely different. The personalities are completely different. The environment's completely different. So the benefit of Troutman is we know that space. We have many people who used to work for the government. I'm one of those. And Troutman Pepper has a whole handful of attorneys that have governmental experience specific to the Attorney General. The other thing I think that distinguishes us from other law firms, our peer firms, is in an Attorney General practice, it's not just defending companies who are involved in investigations, but at times you want to have a liaison relationship with the Attorneys General. It might be that you want to know the Attorneys General and you want them to know your client, because if they have a problem with your client, maybe next time they'll deal with it a little bit differently. It won't just be a lawsuit out the door or blindsiding with a subpoena. They may reach out to you and say, we need to meet to talk about a matter. It's not going to necessarily make the matter go away, but it's going to change its characteristics. So a lot of companies who are high-profile companies, they want to be before the Attorneys General, and they want us to help them build those relationships. We understand the areas of law that the Attorney General's practice in. We understand their procedures as well. But we also cover knowing who the key players are. And so if you're involved in an AG investigation, it certainly is beneficial to know the Attorney General of that state. And there's a lot of firms who know the Attorneys General. And it certainly helps to know the senior management of a state. Typically, those same firms that know the Attorneys General tend to know the senior management. And Troutman Pepper is no different than those firms. But we also have a deep bench with the staff. And that's what I think really distinguishes Troutman Pepper from our competitors, is that when we're involved with a matter, chances are we already know the head of consumer protection of that state, and chances are we have dealt with the particular team of assistant attorney generals that are involved in a matter before. And I think that's a true dividing point between us and our competition. First of all, we have a pretty deep bench in our firm of people who came out of the Attorney General's office. I did. I came out of the state of Missouri. My co-lead, Ashley, came out of the Virginia Attorney General's office. So that heightens our knowledge, both of the procedures and substantively, but it also means that we know the people. We've dealt with them, in my case, for nearly 40 years. In Ashley's case, probably close to 25 or 30 years. And when you look at the competitors in our space, they don't have that same type of deep bench. And I think that is a true separator for Troutman Pepper from its competition.